handwriting good sales copy. Okay. Now, this is actually a picture from, my Starbucks office the other day that I took because I just wanted to show you that I do this. I have a legal pad. I get some of the best written um, pieces from history, and I usually go back a long time. I go back, to the, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s, before there was the internet, before there was, the ability to have instant transactions online. I go back and say, okay, well, what did people have to do to get a purchase made when there was 10 barriers in the way where you go back to direct mail and sending out a letter in the mail and having an envelope that needed to be filled out and replied to and ordered and a check written and or money orders or all this kind of stuff, all the hoops that people have to go through. There has to be a highly persuasive element in the sales message that gets that person to, number one, pay attention, because people are busy, regardless of what decade you're in. People are still busy and have other things on their mind versus, oh, this letter is coming in the mail. And now it's email. We have an abundance of emails that we have every single day to either pay attention to or either delete. And it's up to us as marketers to bypass all of that and say, okay, how can I get my message in this, actually on the screen there, you it's the Gary Halbert letter. And if you go back and read the Gary Halbert letter, he was basically a direct sales copywriter or direct marketing copywriter, and he wrote a newsletter called the Gary Halbert letter. And basically, he was teaching other business owners how to be great marketers. Oh, sorry. Okay. So he was teaching people how to be more compelling and help them ultimately sell more through direct mail, through email, and now his son Bond runs the operation. And this is actually the first letter that he wrote out from his subscription. And the reason that I was copying that out is because, number one, it's great to see how he writes, but number two, that letter taught people the concept of being that welcome guest in somebody's mailbox, and going from the A pile or the B pile, right? And right now that's either the spam folder or it's their personal messages that are coming through from their friends. And so I recommend going through this. I'll put a link to his website, and all the past letters are there. They're uploaded and you can go through them. But if you're looking for some real great information that you can sink your teeth into, his newsletter was probably the best out there. And then I think this letter, that it was from 1982. So I mean, I was 2 years old and he's writing things, and now they're super relevant because we're in such a high distraction market. So this is what I do. I ultimately handwrite these messages, look through them, see what I like, what I don't like, what I would change, but always focusing on packages and sales letters that produced for years and years and years and years, because that means that they worked, right? If you have a control or you have a test that nothing can beat, then I want to learn how to do that. So even though I get paid to write emails and I have clients that I work with, I still need to do this because it's something that right now creates amazing ideas in my mind. So if you commit to doing this, what I really suggest doing is for 30 days, okay, make a 30-day commitment and say, I'm going to go through and spend 30 minutes a day doing this for the next 30 days, right? And after that, you're going to have 900 minutes of quality new information and new ideas that are going to start bubbling up and be put into your output. So within the first 15 minutes, you're probably going to hate doing this. When I started I don't type I don't use a pen and pad a lot. I'm on my phone, I'm on my smartphone, I'm on my laptop, and I don't really write out long form letters or messages or take notes long form anymore. It's just not part of what I do. And within the first like 5 minutes, I felt like my arm was going to fall off because there's just muscles you don't use. But what happens is after around 30 minutes, you start getting into what you're writing and you realize that there's certain patterns and there's certain languaging that's used that you almost want to keep reading because that's how these letters are written. They're written in a way that engages you. And some of these are, if you can imagine going back where there's pamphlet sales letters sent out and they're 16 17 pages long selling an investment newsletter or selling $100 a month subscription to some sort of membership club. They're very compelling and they're selling over and over and over again in a mass scale. So you're going to see things that maybe you haven't thought of putting in place in your own business, but also you're going to start realizing that there's things that you can be doing immediately in your email, in your follow up, even in communication with other people that you might not have noticed before. And within 50 minutes, if you continue to do this, you'll realize that you'll start coming up with your own new thoughts. And when you start, and this is like a neurological and scientifically proven fact. There was studies done on this. I'll dig them up. But when you handwrite something, okay, and this is not, you're not going to type it out. You literally handwrite it. When you have that pen to paper, the motion, you will start coming up with new thoughts, new ideas about how to approach different marketing angles. So this is an exercise that I wanted to share with you because I called this the Email Profits Bootcamp for a reason. And for 30 days, treat it like a boot camp and just do this. So that's the first thing. So again, I'm going to be uploading a list and links where possible. Some of these sales letters aren't published, but I have a group that I'm in that has a lot of access to some of the top performing sales letters. So again, like I mentioned before, you want to feel confident that you're studying proven ads, proven sales letters, proven emails, and not copying things that never worked. Okay. Now, I want to go into a 3-step formula for writing emails